Imagine yourself driving on a dark road. It's a road you've driven maybe 1,000 times before. You know the twists and the turns, but it's early in the morning. There's a light fog. As you drive, you catch a dark shape out of the corner of your vision. Is that a trash bag on the side of the road? No, it's almost furry and moving, but where is it going? You've only got a split second. What do? Do you slam on the brakes? Do you honk your horn? Do you swerve? All of these thoughts, senses, and recognition has to happen in a very short period of time. Often we see situational awareness portrayed in different ways in movie and on LinkedIn. You'll see a video of somebody get hit by something out of nowhere. You'll see videos of spidey senses tingling and reacting to things in almost impossible ways. But what we commonly see described as situational awareness is only one, maybe a fictionalized element of what it really means to be aware of one's surroundings and how people react to things. Inslee defines situational awareness as the perception of elements in the environment within a volume of time and space, the comprehension of their meaning, and the projection of their status into the near future. It's the ability to extract, integrate, and assess information and act upon that information. When we think about how people get information, how they perceive it, comprehend it, and make decisions, all of these things add up to our own understanding of what is happening around us and how do we react. Now we've got a video here, and I want you to focus on what you can see. Your challenge in this video is to count the number of people in orange who get subs from the truck. Now keep your focus. It's very difficult sometimes. There's lots of people moving. There's guys flipping subs. Nobody's paying for anything. What do you see? What do you notice? Now, were you correct? Did you get 7 people with subs? There's also other things that happened. Did you notice the pizza truck? The glasses? Did you notice that the person dropped a suspicious package? So I really enjoy that video because when you get a crowd of people going through it, you'll see different things. Some people were really focused and able to get the right number of people had subs. Some people got distracted and maybe they missed 1 or 2, or they counted extras. They fell apart at the challenge itself. And some of you probably recognized that this was a trick and that it wasn't about the subs, it was about something else. So you started looking around at the rest of the video. When we look at these 2 different groups, you can see that some of these people got the task correctly and some of these people made mistakes while performing it. But the other group, looking for that hidden message, they missed the task entirely. And situational awareness is task dependent. If you're driving on a road, your focus is on getting information and processing what you're supposed to do. Well, this ties to situational awareness, and there are 3 elements of situational awareness. The first element is perception. How do we perceive and receive information? When we watched that video, we were using our eyes and our senses to recognize and decode information. That person has orange, that's a moving person, they got a sub. We're perceiving that information. The second element of situational awareness is comprehension. Once I've perceived that information, I have to process it and understand what it means. I might have saw a person with orange, but they didn't get a sub, so I don't count them. We have to take that information in and understand it. The third element is projection. What does this information mean? What's going to happen next coming in the future? And how do I respond to it? So these 3 elements help guide us in how we encounter information and how we focus that to understand what is going to happen next and how we should respond. Situational awareness is not a one-time loop. It's not just I perceive information, comprehend it, and project it, and it goes away. It's a constant cycle. We're constantly getting new information from our environment. We're getting through our senses, sight, sound, taste, smell, All of these things are coming in. Our brain is processing that, and it's projecting what of it's relevant, what of it applies to me right now, and all of that informs our decisions and actions. What actions do we need to take given this information, and how is that going to affect things in the future? So you get this constant loop. There was an example from the Miracle on the Hudson. They were taking off from an airport and they were hit by a flock of birds. In that moment, Captain Sully had to perceive and process information. They had lost not one, but both engines. And they're processing what's happening, what's my airspeed, how much time do I have? They're communicating with each other, the pilot and the co-pilot. They're communicating with air traffic control of their situation. And they're being given instructions. Take this heading, go head back to the airport for landing. They have to, in that moment, perceive this information. What is my airspeed? What's happening? What do I feel going on with the plane? Comprehend it, understand what's my rate of descent, how long do I have, how much speed do I have left, and project, can I make this turn? Can I make this move? All of these elements have to fit together in order to make a decision. And in the case of the Miracle on the Hudson, they recognized that they couldn't have made the turn, they couldn't have made those landings, and they then started planning and making decisions around landing in the Hudson. And again, that loop starts back over. Okay, I'm landing here. What are my speeds? What do I see? What decisions do we need to make? So situational awareness, it's not a one-off. It's not spider sense coming in. It's a constant loop. Now, what impacts and breaks situational awareness? Well, part of it is faulty memory. We perceive information, but we don't recognize it. We don't comprehend its meaning. There are things that can affect your ability to perceive and comprehend, like fatigue, stressors. Again, if you're driving through that dark road early in the morning, if it's super early, are you actually awake yet? Have you had your coffee? Did you have to wake up early so you didn't get a full night's sleep? Those kind of things can start to affect your reaction time, your ability to process and perceive information. People can also be distracted by things like cell phones, television, radio, all of this information that we're constantly getting that's distracting us from performing that task. We also frequently deal with automation in our processes. And as automation gets better, people rely on it and begin to trust it more and more. Have you ever seen a video of a Tesla driver who was asleep while their car was going? Maybe they were looking at their phone, or a distracted person on cruise control. Those drivers are out of the loop. They're not focusing on getting new information and processing it. Meaning, when things change in your environment, you're not ready to react and adapt. There was research done on how much people could pay attention and how long they could focus on a task. And what they found with this research was that after 20 minutes, subjects had an 87% chance of seeing a signal. Meaning after 20 minutes, they're still focused, they're still able to detect changes and problems and respond. But as that time window got longer and longer, when they got to that 60-minute mark, there was only a 12% chance of recognizing the alarm, recognizing the signal. Meaning, as time goes on, your vigilance, your ability to detect and perceive information and comprehend it is going down. You're going to be more distracted. You're going to start daydreaming and start looking at different things. So what do we do to get people back in the loop, back focusing on this? Well, in a study of air traffic controllers, they were looking at where people's situational awareness broke down. And as they perceived information, was it a problem of I didn't see information? Was it a problem of once I got it, I didn't understand its relevance, I didn't comprehend it? Or is it that I didn't project what was going to happen next? Well, when Inslee did her study on a taxonomy of situational awareness issues, what she found was 78% of the air traffic controllers did not perceive the needed information. When they made a mistake, they didn't even recognize that they had missed information. 17% misinterpreted that information, and 5% failed to project what would happen next. So when we think about ourselves and apply this to us, how are we getting information? How are we making information available to workers, to people who are having to monitor and gather information? How do we make that information easy to interpret and understand? And how do we give them the tools and information necessary to make the right decisions? All of these things come together to help people better understand situational awareness, how we're perceiving information, comprehending what's happening, and projecting what's going to happen next. It's a constant loop, and we need to keep you in the loop with the right information. If you want more discussion on this topic, you can check out our podcast we filmed on situational awareness. If you want to learn how to go beyond situational awareness in your investigations, you can check out the resources down below and see the next Taproot course coming near you.